This man Nav is a munch because he cheated again. I don't know how many times we have to discuss this, that merch bundles are just widely known as finessing the system. Sure, you may be able to do it and it's technically not cheating, it's just numbers, this is all marketing, but to me it just looks corny. And I told y'all this would happen. We predicted it even last night on stream, discussing it with Hello Yassine. If you haven't already seen, more projections for Nav's album have released. Demons Protected by Angels, wherein academics posts, Nav projections have increased. It's now projecting to sell 62K first week. Also impressively, around 21K of those sales are actual purchases. Now, if you don't know what these actual purchases are with the physical copies or merch bundles, and there's a lot of controversy around that because more recently, considering a lot of rappers or just artists in general have been finessing this system for the past couple years, overinflating their album sales by hundreds of thousands of copies in some situations, such as Travis Scott selling 250,000 exclusive merch drops within the first week, wherein they didn't even ship out until months later. So if we check out Billboard's new rules, merch bundles still actually count. It's just you have to list the physical copy of the album, whether it's signed or a CD or a vinyl, as an add-on item, and it has to be about $3.49 more than the standalone album. Another significant rule is that the physical album or single must be shipped before it can be counted towards the charts. So to count for these first week sales, it has to be shipped within this first week. So what did Nav do, you may be asking yourself? Well, he dropped another V-Lone collab with his album. And of course, since it's V-Lone, and I wouldn't say it's the most popular brand anymore, but still, like a lot of streetwear people who are into that, they're still buying it, especially when it's $35, which is much lower than its normal retail price. And so what Nav did is he dropped 4 separate merch bundles wherein you get a whole box set of a shirt, a CD, and whatever this is, the casing for the CD, wherein this CD price of $3.49 is probably baked into the $35 price. Oh, not to mention, I don't know if you guys can see this, but it says limited to 4 per customer. So how about that? If you're a customer, you can buy 4 albums. I would not be surprised if, labels started to buy these merch bundles from themselves and maybe even refunded it to themselves like weeks after, when the first week sales were technically shipped and the transaction was done. Because all labels really care about at this point is the marketing of the first week sales. They don't care about necessarily the money behind it because they're buying it from themselves anyway. And given that 21,000 of the sales were merch bundles, out of 62,000, that is more than a third of the copies, meaning that he actually, streaming wise, is only projected to sell 41K. Whereas the artist that was competing with him at the time, and not really, because again, he's a new artist, Yeet, and it had many less songs, 7, as well as 10 less features, emphasis on Nav having all of the mainstream like A-list celebrities, Travis Scott, Future, Lil Baby. Maybe they're not A-list, but you get the point, like they're the top dogs in the genre. Not to mention that yesterday or the day before, when I guess the projections weren't coming in as high as they expected or desired, the label that is, they then inserted a song that wasn't even theirs onto the bonus version of Demons Protected by Angels, Lemonade, which was a smash hit, but by internet money. So however many streams Lemonade is getting this week is now going to be counted onto the Demons Protected by Angels album as well. And since again it was like a #1 hit or top 10, I can't remember what the exact ranking was on Billboard Hot 100, but likely it's bringing in some first week sales that technically isn't even actually a sale because it's internet money song. Sure, Nav might be getting royalties because he's a feature, but it's not actually on this album, bruh. And he only outselling Yeet by potentially 6,000, bruh. This is sad. Man, when you know that you aren't gonna sell all too well, please don't stack your album with features or cop a bunch of merch bundles. It just makes it look worse for the people who actually know what to look for. Sure, some dumbass fans are gonna come out and say Nav sold 62,000, but when you look deeper, it just makes you look even more sad, and it draws more attention to suspicious activity, because if you were to buy that many merch bundles or finesse the system to the point where like when fans are just trying to buy merch, like it counts for albums as well. Meanwhile, most everybody else has to get 1,500 streams to actually get an album sale. What's to stop you from doing other activities that are fishy, such as how your projections boosted up almost 30,000 within a couple of days because maybe they were a little bit too close to another artist? I mean, at that point, I don't even care about the sales of the music, but the fact that you do so much that you have to compete at that level by doing something so obvious, it's just sad. And normally I wouldn't be all too hung up on something like this, but this happens time and time again with Nav, and I just feel like he should learn his lesson. With good intentions a few years back, he sold 135,000 album equivalent units. 73,000 copies of those albums were merch bundles, and it was a V-Lone collab too, so very similar to this time. That's more than half his albums being finessed. And another album, not necessarily the same level of buffoonery, but out of 82,000 on Bad Habits, he sold 24,000 pure album sales or merch bundles, which is over a quarter of your sales. So I just don't get it. You look dumb, bro. I think after Billboard changed their rules, everyone came to the conclusion like, okay, maybe we should actually sell albums, or maybe we'll buy streams or whatever, but it's like a little harder to track that way. But pure album sales, merch bundles, bro, you expose yourself. But what this also says, and I've been hearing on Twitter and Instagram, is now that Nav kind of exposed that you can still use merch bundles if you do it the right way, such as shipping out the merch the first week, so having everything prepared before the rollout. Travis Scott or some of these other artists, such as maybe Playboi Carti, or I don't even know who else, but the people who actually have a fan base who buys their merch or is into fashion, at least streetwear, they now have the opportunity to finesse the system too, but probably at an even higher level, because Travis Scott, again, with Astroworld, sold like 200, 250K with merch bundles, which is impressive in itself, I'm not gonna lie, but still kind of cheating, considering those fans who are buying merch bundles limited up to 4 times per person. Are they really attempting to buy this album 4 times, or do they just want the merch? They're streaming the music, sure, but not 1,500 times in 1 week. But y'all let me know in the comments what you think about this situation. It has been your boy Bobbalam signing off. Shaking my damn head at Nav. Make sure to like and subscribe on the Bob game if you with it, unless you Nav. Nah, I'm playing. I have nothing against him, but he's just doing some weird shit. Peace out, clap people. Know what I'm saying?